Okay, I do believe we are live. Bit late, as always, but better late than never, eh? Let's load it straight up. Hi Dagger, how you doing? Hello everybody, welcome back to Farm Sim Friday. We're here. We're late, but we're here. As usual. You know me, never turn up to a stream on time. I'm always fashionably late. I'm good, thanks you. I'm good. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit out of it today. I've had a very busy week. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and focus up. I'm going to try and get in the zone for Farming Sim. But, God, this week has been so all over the place that I don't know whether I'm coming or going, to be honest. But we're here now. We'll try and unwind and play some Farming Sim and, you know, just relax a bit, kick back. And any second now, we will be in. Here we go. So we're back in Saxlingham. There's already some issues. There we go. We're back in Saxlingham. The very first thing we want to do, before we do anything else, before I even speak, there's something very, very important that we need to do. I'm going to explain on the way. We need to get this tractor, and we need to move. So today we're going to try and focus on our animals again. But before we do that, we actually need to go and feed the sheep, because a very serious problem has arisen. Half of my sheep are dead. Half of my sheep have already died. Which was unexpected, to say the least. If you don't know, I'm playing with a mod that makes the animals a bit more realistic, and one of the things that this mod does is it makes it so that if you don't feed your animals, they actually just die. And because we didn't have any grass prepared to feed to our sheep when we bought them last week, a few of them have already died. So we're taking an emergency bale down there right now to feed to the remaining sheep. We'll get the rest of the bales down there later, and we'll get them properly fed. But for now, we're just taking them in emergency bale so that they don't starve to death. But the main focus of the stream is we are going to be trying to build a new yard. I'll tell you more about that in a little while. But we're going to be trying to build a new yard down near the animal pens, because we need somewhere to have all of our animal equipment. You know, if we're gonna try and have all of our animals in the same place, it would be wise to have a dedicated area for all the animal equipment. You know, straw blowers and feed mixers, and you know, storage for all the bales and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to try and get set up today. We're going to try and find a nice patch of land near the sheep pasture, and we're going to attempt to set up a yard on that patch of land. And I do already have somewhere in mind. Soul stream while I work. Hi P, how you doing? I'm here for you, don't worry. I might have to dash off very quickly at some point during the stream. Just want to mention it before it happens, because I am expecting a parcel, and it's being delivered by Every. So if I don't actually go to the door and get it, it's going to end up in the bin. If you know Every, you know that they will put that shit in the bin. I don't want my parcel going in the bin. So if I have to just suddenly rush off to collect a parcel, that's why. Hello, Beachy. How are you doing? Have you had your new carpets put down yet? Not yet. The carpets are being fitted on Tuesday. That's why I did a Euro Truck stream this Tuesday, because I won't be able to do one next Tuesday. I'm getting new carpets fitted, so I'm going to be busy all day. Thanks for following, Gabriel. I love British English. Being an American is such a drag. Oh, I feel you, Brando. I feel you. Brando Calrissian. What an incredible username, by the way. I feel you. It's not all it's cracked up to be, though, let me tell you. Anyway, you don't want it, says Rowan. Yep, it'll end up in a pond 3 streets over. Yep, exactly. You know Every. You know what they're like. I'll have to keep checking my phone as well, because I've got tracking open on my phone. So if I do check my phone during the stream, it's not me being ignorant, it's me not wanting my package to end up in a bin. I'm just going to check right now, actually, because it says between 5:30 and it says between 3:30 and 5:30, so basically any time in the next 2 hours. Okay. There we go. I've got the tracking open on my phone. I'll just keep checking that as we go. But here we are. We're here at the sheep pasture, and yeah, if we look at how many sheep we got now, remember at the end of the last stream we had 48 sheep. If we look at the animal dialogue now, we have 23 sheep. 25 of our sheep have died already. We've had these for less than a day, and 24 of them have already died. Because they have no food. This is why we brought a bale down here. This is why I brought some emergency food. In fairness, I should have prepared this beforehand. I should have made sure that we already had something to feed them before we actually got them in. But I didn't. So, some of them have died. A sheep famine has occurred. Yes. But we brought down an emergency bale. Which, hopefully... Have I put that in the right spot? Oh, am I supposed to put it in the... No, that is the right... This is the right place for it, yeah? Why is that not being accepted? Is it inside? I don't think it's the yellow marker, because I think this is where the eggs get placed. But I could be wrong. I can try and put it in the... I'll try and put it in the square. If I can avoid hitting the actual building. Eggs from the... I meant wool, Adam. You know what I meant. Shut up. Yeah, no sheep eggs. Just wool. It won't go in. Problem. Oh, hello. There's a sheep in here. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on here. This is the marker, so surely this is the spot where it's supposed to be placed, right? Do I need to cut the bale open? It could be, yeah, it might be that it needs to be loose hay. It might also be because this is a grass bale, not a hay bale. Now, in the base game, you can just feed them grass bales, but because I am using the realistic animal grazing mod, it might make it so that they can only eat hay and not grass. Which, if that's the case, we're going to lose a lot more sheep before we get hay bales, let me tell you. It's a bit too late now for that. Let's try putting it here again, just... There we go. Oh, we don't even have the option to cut it open. Okay, this is a problem. If it's realistic, try putting it over the fence. That... Actually, you might have a point there. Rowan. Let's try and drop it over the fence and see if that does anything. Why don't you get a job in the real life farming industry? It's funny you should say that. I actually did consider a career in farming after secondary school to do after uni, and there were like a couple of options, but I went with university. Okay, that didn't work. That didn't work. They still haven't taken the grass bale. Problem. Big problem. There's no mark around here, is there? No, there's nothing around here. This is just the animal dialogue. That's nothing really. So what's going on? Why won't they take the food? Let me just where's the help? I don't think there's going to be much useful information in here. It'll be hay. I think you're right, Jack. I think most likely they just won't take grass bales. So we will try and we'll buy a hay bale just to test it, and if they take that, then we know for future that they only take hay. Square bale hay, round bale hay. We'll go for a square one. They're easier to handle. Goats and sheep eat hay. Yeah, I know in real life they eat hay, but in the game it normally lets you feed them grass. But again, it's probably because I'm playing with the realistic farming mod, the realistic animal mod. That's probably why they won't take grass like they do in the base game. So it probably has to be hay specifically. Grass is hay. Yeah, but hay's dried grass, right? Like I say, there's a distinction which the game obviously is making. Like, they won't take just grass, it has to be hay specifically. There's something weird happening with my camera. I don't know if you are seeing that. It keeps randomly panning downwards. I don't know what's going on there. Well, I do know what's going on there. What's going on there is I need to get a new steering wheel. But we've already established this many, many times at this point. It might just be that you have to give them Heston instead. I don't think it matters what size and shape the bales are. I can't see that making a difference. I mean, if, you know, it's worth a try if it doesn't work. You know, if this doesn't work, it's worth trying, but... Like I say, I don't think the size and shape of the bales really makes a difference. Also, this won't stay on because this isn't actually a bale spike I'm using right now, it's a pallet fork. There we go. Hopefully it won't fall off. Doesn't give me great visibility, though. How are you today? I'm good, Max. How are you doing? No offense, what's your gender, says Jensen. I'm a trans woman, Jensen. So I was born male, says male on my birth certificate. I was raised as a boy for 22 years. I came out about 4 years ago. In fact, literally just... 2 days ago, I posted a video on TikTok to celebrate 4 years of my public coming out. Go check out that video, by the way, if you're interested. It's the very first video pinned right at the top of my profile. It's about 20 minutes long, so it's a bit of a watch. But it's a video where I basically tell the story of how I came out to my friends and family and stuff like that. But it was literally just 4 years just passed a couple of days ago. Thank you, Gabriel. I'm alive but exhausted, says Max. Oh yeah, it's been a busy week for me as well. I can't see how coming out would matter or change anything, says Pablob6666. What do you mean by that, Pablob? Can't see how coming out would matter or change anything. I mean, it has to happen. If people have known you for 22 years as a man, but you want to transition to a woman, you have to tell them at some point. I'm all for. I appreciate that for gay people. There's this attitude at the minute that maybe coming out isn't that important. Like, why should you have to declare your sexuality? And I totally get that. But with gender, it's a bit different. You kind of have to tell people that you are going to be transitioning. You know, people kind of have to know that sort of thing. Okay, here we go. We've got a hay bale. Let's see if it will accept it. Ignore the fact that the front wheels are lifting off the ground. Get in there. No, it's not doing anything. Okay. That's a very, very, very big problem. Try the square. We'll try and put it in the square. Nope, makes no difference. We can try putting it over the fence in the actual enclosure. Nope, makes no difference. Okay. Something's wrong here. It's got to be a bug, because there's no way. Like, I've tried everything. I've tried putting it in everywhere that it can theoretically go. There's no marker around here. Do you play with any mods? Says Luke. I do, Luke, yeah, and I think it is probably a mod that's causing the problem. It's probably this realistic animal grazing that I've got. What I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly head back to the main menu and just take a quick look. No point in saving because we haven't done anything. But if we go to installed mods, this is the mod that we're using. It's called Enhanced Animal System. I think this is the one that's likely affecting it. I'm just reading, see if there's anything. Okay. Things from more animals. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't say anything there about affecting how they eat. And I don't think there's a animal package. What's this one? This is just a visual thing that adds in visual distinctions between male and female animals. That won't affect anything either. Have you constructed a pasture? We have, Jack. Yeah, they've got a pasture. I think those are the only two mods we've got that would affect animals and animal feed. So if it's neither of them, I'm not sure what else it could be. Oh, we do have the cut open bale mod. We could try cutting open a bale and just loading in like some loose hay or straw. I guess that's something that could work. Let's try and load back in, and we'll try again and see if we can figure it out. Hi, Tower Fox, how are you doing? They auto-eat, apparently, and you feed them hay in the winter. That's weird, though, because it doesn't say that the food's actually going in. Like, there's no... Like when we had sheep on Moss Valley, the other map that we were playing a couple of months back, when you put a bale in, it actually removes the bale and it tells you that the food has gone into the enclosure. Like if we open the animal dialogue here, you can see on the right-hand side it says conditions. And then it's got productivity, which is currently at 0%, wool, which is currently at 0 litres, and underneath that it's got food. So what's supposed to happen is when we put a grass bale into the enclosure, that bar there is supposed to go up. That being said, it does actually say that grass is currently at 100%, even though there's 0 litres. So that's unusual. There's something not quite right going on here. Like, the bar is empty, but it says that they're 100% full. Which is just adding confusion to it. Let's go down there. Let's go down there. Yeah, see, it says that the food level on the bottom right. You probably won't be able to read it because it will be tiny on the stream. But on the bottom right, it says 23 animals, 0% health, 0 litres of food, and 0 litres of meadow. But then in the animal dialogue, it says. It still says 0 litres of grass and 0 litres of meadow, but it also says 100% grass and meadow. I don't know. Maybe we should just leave it and see if anything changes. The thing that's bothering me is the fact that we bought 48 animals. We definitely bought 48 of them, but there's only 23 in here now. So what happened to the rest? Unless that's the bug that half of our sheep just randomly disappeared, because we definitely bought 48. If you watched the last live stream, we bought 48 sheep, and now we only have 23. Something's gone wrong. I assumed that it was because they didn't have food, but we've tried feeding them and that hasn't worked. So something else must have happened that's caused 25 of our sheep to vanish off the face of the earth. Maybe they've been abducted by aliens, who knows? But they're not there now, is the point. Maybe the big bad wolf, says Beachy. Yeah, maybe. Maybe they've all been poached or hunted by some predator animal. I don't know. They're not there. The 25 sheep have gone. That's all we know at this point. That's the only confirmation we have. I guess for now we'll leave that. We'll put that to one side. We got other things to be getting on with. Like, for example, we do need to start collecting up our bales. So I'm going to head to the shop and we are going to look at flatbed trailers. Which one's cheapest? This Roland one here is 13 grand. That seems good enough. Standard configuration. We're not going to get it with auto load. We're going to try and do this legit. If there is an option to put cages on, though. Okay. Yep, okay, there is. Oh, we can get bigger ones too. Should we should we get the tall ones, or oh, that one looks quite nice. This one gives us a bit of extra length as well, so we could maybe fit a few more bales on. Truth be told, we're probably not going to actually fill this because we don't have that many bales. But I think this is the best option if we ever do get that many bales, you know? So this is what I'm going to go with. I want a double rear axle, just because it looks better, and it isn't really that much more expensive. Double axis, twin radial, double axis, okay. Oh, right, so it changes with the tyre brands as well. Well, I'm going to go for Vredstein. Vredstein is my usual go-to for tyres. I don't know. I like Fredstein. That'll do. Let's buy it. Have you got a baler? We got a baler. We got bales. Everything about the baling process is already done. The only thing we need to do is actually pick the bales up, which is what we're going to do right now. I'm also going to leave this pallet fork and get an actual bale spike. And pop it here. Okay. There we go. And then we'll get ourselves off to the shop. We need a bale spike. We got the trailer waiting for us. We got about 20 bales to load, I believe. Beachy says, might never use the entire trailer, but it looks nice, so who cares? True, and it's very cheap, you know. 13 grand, I mean, the cheapest base game one is 20 grand, so that's a good saving, I reckon. Okay, I'm going to check my delivery again, just in case. Oh, it's been delivered. Okay, I'm going to have to go and check my bin real quick, because apparently the package has now been delivered. I'll be back in a second. I just know that they've put it in the bin. Won't be a sec. They put it in the recycling box, which is not as bad as the actual bin, but it's still pretty bad. Let's do a quick package opening, by the way, and I'm not going to show the address this time. I've made that mistake once before. But as you can probably tell, this is a record. My dad got me a record player for my birthday this year, and I've been working on expanding my record collection. At the minute, I have mostly Billy Joel and classical stuff. And this is a classical as well. This is... There we go. It's The Planet Suite by Gustav Holst. One of my favourite bits of classical music ever. There it is. Hold on. There's the actual record. For some reason, it's not inside its own sleeve. There we go, hold on. It's got like 3 sleeves. I don't know why. Sorry about this. This is supposed to be a farming sim stream. We will get back to the farming sim in just a minute. There we go. Okay. Sorted. But yeah, there we go. That was my package. It was The Planet Suite by Gustav Holst, performed by the London Symphony Orchestra. If you've watched any of my videos, by the way, you'll notice I've used a lot of music from this suite in the background of my videos previously. It is by far one of my favourite bits of classical music. So there we are. That was my package. That's what I was waiting for. That's sorted now. Don't have to worry about it. We can get back to the game. Okay, I'm going to get a bale spike before I forget. Not that one. It'll be under front loader tools, won't it? Wherever they are. There. The shop, I've said it before, but the shop in this game, really not as well organised as it was in Farming Sim 22. There we go. Thanks for following AJ York's Pudding, by the way, and Joshua Spart. Thank you very much. Just turn that. There we go, make sure that's pointed inwards for safety. I want to impale any passers-by with our bale spike. Oh my god, a cute farmer. How you doing, Moon Boy? Welcome. Okay. Hopefully we can get some actual farming done today. We're already 45 minutes in and we've achieved basically nothing. Let's try and get to work. You need to put the loader in the air. That's how we do it in real life. I don't think it is, G. I mean, it's my understanding that when you've got something like a bale spike on the front of your tractor, the safest thing to do is have it pointed downwards and inwards. If I drive along with it like this, hold on. If I drive along with it like this, I'm gonna fucking murder someone. And also, if I drive around with it up in the air, that's affecting my visibility massively. I know you're claiming to be a farmer, but I don't know if I believe that, because what farmer in their right mind would think that driving along with the spike sticking forwards and the thing right in front of your face would be safer than having it pointed down and lowered so that you can see over it? Hi, Marika. How you doing? Evelyn Sparrowhawk, farm manager. Oh, Elgin Sparrowhawk. You mean farm manager? I get the reference. I get the reference. Beachy says, I wonder if every training consists of putting expensive products in a bin. Yeah, honestly, that's the thing as well. Because it was a record, that shit's delicate. Records are quite delicate. I mean, in fairness, it was in quite a thick parcel, so it couldn't be bent or anything like that. But I don't spend good money on a record just for it to be chucked in the fucking bin. It really annoys me that they do that. Thanks for the donuts, Marika. I'm going on a plane in a few hours, very nervous. Oh, well, good luck, Moo Boy. Have you been on a plane before? I haven't. Fun fact. Never been abroad. Okay, here we go. Baling time. Let's see how many there are before we start. Okay. Oh, there is one in one of our neighbour's back gardens as well, because it rolled through the hedge. We'll probably go and pick that one up before we forget about it. First time and alone, says Moo Boy. Wow. Well, good luck. Good luck. You got this. Oh, shit. I keep hitting that water tank. Every single time I go around that corner, I hit that water tank. It's not very well placed. Thank you, says Moo Boy. You made it over to Twitch. How are you doing? I think it's this one. Oh, shit. Hi, neighbour. I've just come to collect my bale that rolled into your field. Your garden, sorry. And around the back. There it is. Hey Chester, how are you doing? I love Farm Sim Friday. Me too. Genuine question, no hate. Do you get bored of this game? Says Justin. I don't, Justin. I've always said when I play games, if I ever do find myself getting bored of a game, I'll just step away from it for a bit. Especially if it's a game that I really enjoy. I mean, any game, if you play it long enough, you're eventually going to be like, okay, I've kind of had enough of this now. And even your favourite games, you get like that after you've played them for so long, right? And I always think, you know, I don't want to end up hating a game that I really enjoy. So if I ever do start getting a little bit bored and I'm feeling like I've had enough, I just take a step away from it and just take a break from it and play something else for a while. I just want to spread some positivity. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, Bishop the Kid. This is so unrealistic, says G. Yeah, well, in real life, bales don't roll through hedges, but unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. I didn't make the map. I can't control whether bales roll through hedges or not on the map, can I? Do you have a dream place to visit? Mine's anywhere in Poland, such a beautiful country, says Beachy. I want to visit Japan. I was supposed to go to Japan after university to do a year's teaching, but unfortunately it never happened because of the COVID-19 lockdown. So that plan ended up getting shelved, but I've always wanted to revisit the idea. I've always wanted to go to Japan, you know, maybe spend a year or two there teaching English. I would love to go to Germany. I've always liked Germany. I guess Poland would be nice. I don't think Poland specifically for any particular reason, but I mean I'd like to travel. You know, if I had the money to just travel and visit loads of different countries, then I'd want to visit as many as possible. You know. But if we're being specific, Japan I'd like to go to, Germany I'd like to go to... I'd like to go to Australia, actually. I think Australia would be cool. A bale will go through a hedge in real life, not like that on the game, but they do go through hedges. Yeah, okay. I mean, obviously, a bale weighs 4 tons. If it rolls into a hedge, it's gonna go through it, right? But you know what I mean. Like, why are you being deliberately pedantic, G? I mean, when I say bales don't roll through hedges in real life, I mean they don't like just magically clip through the hedge. Like, obviously, if a bale rolled into an actual hedge, it would probably go through it. It seems like you're just being pedantic. Okay, let's see if we can get one in cab view. You know that I'm terrible at handling bales in cab view, but we'll give it a try. Okay, good so far. Now can we get a second one on the other spike? Here we go. Brilliant. How many hours do you have on this game, says Mooboy? I've no idea, Mooboy. I mean, to be fair, with FS25, we haven't played it for too long. I've only really played this one on stream, so you could probably work it out if you go and look at all of the streams that I've done for FS25 and like total up the runtime. We did 12 episodes in Saxlingham, so that would be 36 hours. This is our third stream in this map, so that'll be 9 hours. And then we did a couple of like one-off streams when the game first came out, like first look videos and stuff like that. So maybe 45, 50 hours at this point. If you totaled up every single farming sim, I couldn't even begin to imagine. Because obviously I've been playing farming sim since 2015. Hey Marika, over on Twitch now. Oh, what happened there? Okay, let's try and spike it from above then. There we go. Good. And turn around and get another one. So if we can't... I don't know. We'll take these down to the sheep pasture anyway. I'm still not quite sure what the feeding situation is with the sheep. But we can take them down there and we can pile them up in the new yard, which we're going to be building today. Hey, Mappy Jan, how you doing? Do you want to drive tractors in real life, says G? Not really. Like I say, I had the option a few years ago, but I went a different way with my life. I took a different career path. And I'm happy with the decision I made, you know. Go. This is looking good so far. This is like some of the best bale stacking I've ever done, to be quite honest. Let's strap these down before I lose them, because I've literally never done it this well before. If you drop the bale next to the other one, it's easier to spike two at the same time. Okay, thank you for the recommendation, Rowan. I might try that actually. Although it's not going too badly, honestly. Thoughts on gaming companies openly using AI more and more, says Beachy. I mean, as someone who's trying to get into the game design industry, I strongly disapprove of the use of AI. I'm very anti-AI. I mean, there's the thing is, there's just no good argument for AI. It's bad for the environment, it's plagiarism at best, and just blatant theft of other people's art at worst. I just genuinely don't see any good argument for it, other than it's cheaper than hiring people, which is why big game design companies are going to start using it more and more. You know, like, the only advantage is you don't have to pay a real person to do it. So for that reason, it's going to end up being used more and more and more, right? But every other thing about it is bad. It's bad for everyone except the businesses who are going to employ it, right? Do you make silage, says Namaste? I don't, Namaste. I don't really enjoy the silage aspect of the game that much. I know it's the best way to make money. Whenever I play Farming Sim, people are always like, you know, the best way to make money in the game is to do silage. I just find silage so boring, honestly. I just find it so time-consuming and boring to fill up a huge silage pit and then compact it down. And I know it's good money. I know it's like the best way to make money in the game. but I just don't really enjoy doing it. Okay, they're a bit too far forward. Hold on. What games do you stream, says Sam? Good question, Sam. Currently, I stream Minecraft on Mondays, Euro Truck on Tuesdays, Factorio on Thursday, Farming Sim on Friday, Train Simulator on Saturday, and on Sundays we do Sci-Fi Sunday, where I'm going to be starting Oddworld New and Tasty. No, Oddworld Soulstorm, sorry. We're going to be starting to play that this Sunday. I don't do those every week. I do 3 streams a week usually, so like alternate between some. So one week I'll do Monday, Thursday. No, one week I'll do Monday, Friday, Sunday, and the next week I'll do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. That's the current schedule. But yeah, the next stream after this will be Sci-Fi Sunday, and we are going to be playing Oddworld Soulstorm, which I am so excited for. I honestly, the whole Oddworld marathon has been building up to this point. I really love Oddworld Soulstorm. Thanks for following, Lenny Shanks. The thing is, Soulstorm was not... Playing it on stream will maybe get some other people interested in it as well, because I really do think that it gets a bit too much hate. I'm very much looking forward to playing it. They playtested the end bit on all difficulties to be finishable, says Marika. That's very true. Say what you like about Soulstorm, you can actually finish the game on any difficulty, which is... you would think would be a given, but you know, if New and Tasty taught us anything, it's not necessarily always the case. Oh no, we're gonna lose one. Oh, we lost one. That's the first one we've lost so far, which is not a bad record. We've already loaded like 10 of them. More than anything, I felt bad for you, says Marika. Yeah, it was just disappointing, you know? Because it's a good game, and I really love the game, but I feel like you can't defend that, you know? You're sat there trying to say nice things about the game, but quite literally can't finish the game because I've, like, got soft-locked on the last level by the game's own design, and there's really no way to fix it. Still remember the 7 video, I love that. Thank you, Chester. We just hit 7.5 last week as well, which is very good. I didn't do a video for it because I don't normally do milestone videos for like halves. I do them for each 1,000. But hopefully, if we can get to 8,000 by the end of the year, I'll definitely be doing another thank you video for that. And we're getting there. We're getting there. It's my favourite streamer. How's it going? It's going good, Draydog. Thank you very much. I'm your favourite streamer. That's nice to hear. Good juju for Soulstorm, says Marika. Yeah, honestly, I replayed Soulstorm quite recently, actually. Just for myself, you know, and it all went quite smoothly. The thing is, it's another one of those games that did have some problems on launch, which I'm not even going to defend that. Releasing games that have like loads of bugs and shit like that, it is straight up unacceptable. Like, I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like that's in any way right. But it is one of those games that it had a lot of problems when it launched, and the subsequent reception has been soured because of it. They did fix up a lot of the problems, and it's still a good game, and you know, they fixed a lot of the issues. But again, I don't like using that defense. I don't like using the, oh, they fixed it now, so that makes up for it being a buggy mess when it released. So I'm not trying to say it as an excuse for the game, but I am giving it as like a reason for it being for the reception being quite mixed. Thoughts on Battle Royale games, says Beachy. I don't like them, personally. I've nothing, you know, there's nothing wrong with them, but I'm not a real big multiplayer person, to be honest. I like smaller local multiplayer games that I can do with a few friends. I've never really been that into, like, online multiplayer with just randoms, as it were. Like I say, I play a lot of multiplayer games, but they're usually smaller games that I can play with like 3 or 4 friends. Things like Phasmophobia, Lethal Company, Repo, Peak has been quite a lot of fun recently. That sort of stuff. I prefer that kind of multiplayer rather than you're online with 100 people that you don't know. You know, again, if you like that kind of game, absolutely fair enough. But it's not my cup of tea, really. Thanks for following Tomboy57. Thoughts on Helldivers 2? I've not played Helldivers, again, for kind of the same reasons. But I have heard very good things about the game and the series. What field do you own? I'm playing it myself, but always interested to see what sort of game style, says Virtual Farmer. Currently, we only have the starting fields, which is 7, 19, 3, and 2. I have bought Field 69 down here. Nice. Which we're going to be using for... Well, we got a sheep farm in here at the minute. What I was thinking was, because there's quite a lot of empty, like, non-arable fields down here, there's quite a few just grass fields, we're eventually going to buy all of these and have all of our animals concentrated in one place. So we'll get 68 for the pigs, 72 for the cows, maybe 74 for the horses, and so on and so forth, and just buy this whole little cluster of fields and have all of our animal productions in one place. That's what I'm thinking in terms of moving forwards. If you enjoy single-player games, try Atomfall. Atomfall is on my wish list. I haven't gotten around to buying it yet, but Atomfall is on my wish list. I love the idea of it. From what I've heard, I mean, I don't want to just say it's like a British Fallout, because I feel like that doesn't do it justice. But I think that is a good selling point for people who like Fallout. It's a good, you know, it's a fair comparison to make. You know, again, it's not as simple as just being Fallout, but in the Fallout, but in the Lake Districts. It's not that simple. But I feel like that's a good tagline to hook people into it, and it's definitely got me hooked, and I definitely want to check it out. What if I donate? Got a link. Be happy to donate for you to get to watch. You don't have to do that, Tomboy. You don't have to donate it. Maybe in the new year we could look at playing it for Sci-Fi Sunday. Because once we've finished Soulstorm, the Sci-Fi Sunday schedule will be wide open, you know, and it is a sci-fi game, so it could be a perfect fit for Sci-Fi Sunday. We'll have to see. We'll have to see in the new year. Okay. I'm just going to leave that. Wait, no, I'm not going to leave that. No, that's not good enough. No, come on. We've done so well with the other bales. Let's do this properly. Let's put it on properly. I know, but I want to. I love watching you. Put up a link. I'll donate £40 for you to get it. No, honestly, Tomboy, no. I can't let you do that. Does 72 automatically come with a sheep barn, or have you placed the barn? We placed the barn. There's no animal productions on the map by default. So if you want them, you've got to place them yourself. No, don't. Okay. Okay, we might have a bit of a problem here. What if I gift £40 worth of galaxies? I mean, you could do that if you wanted to, Tomboy, but I just to make it perfectly clear, even if you did that, I wouldn't be playing the game anytime soon, simply because I've already got quite a lot on the schedule. Again, if you want me to play the game at some point in the future, I will definitely consider it. But I don't have time in the schedule to play it right now. It would be at least January before I actually was able to play it. So honestly, just save your money, please. Can we compromise when you're ready to play it and have time? Let me pay half. Tom, if you want to support me financially, Tom, the best way to do it is joining the Patreon. Then you're only spending £1 a month. I would feel bad taking £40 from you, or even just £20. If you really want to support me, do consider checking out the Patreon. That only costs £1 a month. And I'd feel a lot less guilty about taking money from you if it's only £1. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, by the way. Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika. Thank you all very, very much. How do I join? I'll do it now. There's a link in my bio, Tom. There's a link in my bio that'll take you through to the Patreon. Oh, hi, Jess. How are you doing? I think a lot of the Patreons are here today, actually. Marika's here. Jess is here. I think Riley was here earlier. P was here earlier, definitely. Amy was here earlier. I don't know if you're still watching right now, Tarot Fox. But yeah, most of the Patreons are here today, which is nice. Thank you all. Okay, we're running out of space now. This is where it's going to get trickier. I've got a plan though. I've got an idea. Okay, it's not going to work. No, oh, maybe. Okay. It's not bad. Okay, I think that's acceptable. It's not perfect, but it's acceptable. I mean, there's just not enough space to squeeze that bale in, so it's kind of got to sit there at the top. Unless... Okay, this is probably going to be an incredibly stupid idea, but... Just give me a minute. If I get lined up nice and level, I'm going to undo all the tension belts, and I'm going to do that. That did literally nothing. That accomplished nothing whatsoever. I was hoping that if I did that, it might shift the bales just enough for that one to fall in between, but it didn't work. That's good enough. It's good enough. We've still got a couple more, so let's get back to it. That's actually a really good balance. Thank you, Draydog. Would you try Hogwarts, or isn't it your kind of thing? Says Draydog. I mean, I wouldn't try it purely because I don't want to give money to J.K. Rowling. I'll be completely honest with you. I really used to love Harry Potter as well. I did used to be a big Harry Potter fan. But I'm not going to put money in the pocket of someone who is going to use that money directly to fund anti-trans policies that are going to affect my life. You know what I mean? My dad drives a tractor and went past me and he had horse poo on the trailer and it smells, says Tyrese. That's the smell of the countryside, Tyrese. You gotta get used to it, man. That's the smell of that's the smell of Britain, you know? Horse shit. Okay, there's, I think, just one more bale after this one. Now, because of the way that I've stacked these, it might be a bit trickier to get these ones on. Just take off a few of the tension belts. Because I've stacked them so that there's one in the middle, rather than like I've done on the bottom, where there's 4. You know what I mean. What I'm going to try and do is push those top 2 back a little bit so that these ones fit on. Ooh. Okay, 1 second. Let me just concentrate on this for a moment. Okay, good, good, good. 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 Nope, too far. Back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up, back it up. Okay, hold, 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 hold. Good enough. Good enough. What's your button set up on your side panel? I've recently got one and struggling to get working, says Kibbs. So, mainly, right, first and foremost, obviously, we've got the vehicle arm control, which is the stick there. Sorry for the camera lag, by the way. That's the stick there. We've got the shop and the map. We've got those mapped to the top left 2 controls. We got headlights and indicators, all of that kind of stuff is on the yellow. The green and blue, I think, are for connecting equipment and stuff like that. But I do end up using the shortcut on the steering wheel to do connecting and disconnecting and stuff like that. But not all of the controls are actually mapped on this for this game. Because, like I say, there's a lot of stuff that I just do with the shortcuts on the wheel itself. I don't like doing that, but I just get into the habit of it. Oh shit. Back it up, back it up. This is the last bale, by the way. Let's not mess it up now. I'll have a look, thanks. No worries, Kibbs. We missed that completely. It doesn't help that we're, like, trying to get it out of a ditch. There we go, let's just get it somewhere where we can get a better grip on it. Don't roll away, don't roll away, don't roll away! Got it. Okay, now I see a gap. I see quite a sizable gap there, which could be perfect for it if we can get it in there. Let's see what we can do. Oh. Is Saxlingham on console, said Jason? Still PC only, unfortunately. I know the developer does intend to eventually release it on console, but at the minute, it's PC only. It's not even on the mod hub yet. It's still only available through itch.io. Okay, we've accidentally spiked one of the other bales now that's already attached to the trailer. There we go, let me just do this, and then... Come on, come on. I don't think there's enough space to get this last one on. Ooh. It's on PS5 now, says Sheriff. Is it? Oh. Oh, lovely. Well, obviously I just haven't checked in a while. I mean, I don't have a console, so how would I know, really? You know? But yeah, apparently Saxlingham is now available on console, which is very good news. Okay, come on. They're all shaking now. Okay. Oh, it's on, it's on, it's on. Lock it in. Lock them all in. What the hell's going on? No, 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 you're not supposed to move once you've been strapped down. What's this? No, what? Honestly, fuck this. Fuck this game. So much. The bail physics on this game are terrible. I mean, look, they're literally all strapped down. They should not be moving at all. Unbelievable. They're alive. They're just excited for the journey ahead of them. Yeah, honestly. They're excited to end up in a sheep's belly. Okay, now they're all fixed in place. I mean, all of that time that I spent stacking these as carefully as possible has now been completely undone by the fact that they just won't fucking stay in the same place. But they're all on there. That's the main thing. Let's just take them to where they need to be. Saxlingham Farm is now on PS5 mod and has been for about a week now. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you for letting me know. Yeah. So it is. Saxlingham is now available on console. Quick before any of the other farmers can judge you about it, says Marika. Oh, they'll judge me, all right. They will. Can you pin it for people who don't know? I mean, there's not really any need to pin it, Sheriff. Because I feel like people can just say, is this on PS5? And I can just say, yeah. There's not really any need to pin the message for that. The camera's lagging bad again, by the way. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Wow, this tractor's not that strong either, by the way. It's really struggling with these bales. Where's your sheep located? The sheep are right slap bang in the middle of the map. Field 69, just over the river, just over the ford. Like I said earlier, eventually we're going to buy up 68, 72, 74, like all the fields in that sort of area, and we're going to have all of our animals, all of our animal pastures in that area, so that they're all in one place. Hello there, Swiss. How are you doing? I'd be so nervous driving by this tractor, says Marika. Honestly, you've got a point. Hey, Chris Watson, how are you doing? Is this the UK version of Final Destination? Honestly, it could be. These bales, that people, I feel like people underestimate how heavy a bale is. Because people look at it and they think, oh, it's just grass, right? Yeah, but it's like 4 tons of grass. What are you having for tea, says Taro Fox. Tonight, I'm doing sausage pasta bake. I recently discovered, because I get, I shop at Asda, just preface it, you know, just so you know. And I normally get, they do a cheesy pasta bake sauce, which I buy, like, pretty much every time I do shopping, and I do a nice cheesy pasta bake, or occasionally I'll put some tuna in it. But then recently I decided to try their other pasta bake sauce, which is, like, pepperoni flavour. So I thought I'd get that, and then get a tin of... They're not actually sausages; they're microwave hot dogs. But if you get a tin of hot dogs and like chop them up and stick them in it, combined with the pepperoni sauce, it makes a really nice pasta bake. So it's not technically a sausage pasta bake; it's technically a hot dog pasta bake, but it's pretty damn good. So we're going to be having that for tea tonight. Okay, bales are heavy. They are indeed Scottish modding, yes. Googling pasta bake, says Marika. Basically, you get a baking tray, not a baking tray. You get an oven-proof dish. You put some pasta in it. You pour some sauce over it. You grate some cheese on it. You bung it in the oven. You take it out 40 minutes later. You scran it. It's good. You can do it. You can do a cheese pasta bake. You can do a sausage pasta bake. You can do a tuna pasta bake. It's a good hearty meal. The fact you vault over the fence is hilarious to me. It is quite funny, Taro Fox. So this field here, this is what I'm thinking of transforming into a yard. If we take a look at it on the map, this feels like the perfect size and shape to turn into a yard area. So if we buy this, concrete over it, we can keep our equipment here, we can keep some bales here. We could even leave one corner of it like as grass and put in a chicken pasture or something like that. There's a few options, but I think this would be a good idea, because if we look over here, this is our sheep field. This one here is most likely going to end up being for pigs. This big one here will end up being our cow pasture, and we might end up putting horses in this one here as well. So with all of our animals being in this one place, it just makes sense to have a yard here as well, and this field here seems like a good size and shape for it. This one next door's not bad, but it might end up being a bit too small, depending on how much stuff we end up putting in. So I think this one. I think we'll get field 71, and we'll have this be our new yard. Is Saxlingham on console? It is. AL684858. Yes, indeed. Here we go. Let's buy it. Hold on, that was the wrong button. Buy 36 grand. Lovely jubbly. Okay, this is ours now. I'm gonna do a save before we start landscaping, because landscaping in this game is always a pain in the arse, and there's no undo option. Once you've done it, you kind of have to live with it. So we'll save before we start landscaping. But basically, all I'm gonna do for now is just concrete over it. So if we go to painting, concrete, make it a bit bigger. Hi, TC10296. How you doing? Okay, that's perfect. We'll rotate it. How do we rotate? Can we not rotate the cursor? That's a bit annoying. We changed the shape of it, but that doesn't really help much. Okay. Let's zoom out a bit. We'll start by doing just a nice big sweep across. And then we'll do the edges and try and get it as neat and tidy as we can. We'll do it all concrete for now, but again, at some point I might add a bit of grass back in one corner, and we can do some chickens. Oh, Marika says hi, Tarot Fox from Twitch. Okay, let's get in a bit. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but what I don't want to do is go over the fence by accident. Like, it doesn't matter if there's a bit of grass on our side, but I don't want to put any concrete on the other side of the fence, you know what I mean? Like, something like that is perfect, honestly. This bit might take a while, just fair warning. It's not going to be the most exciting. And I've immediately done the thing that I said I didn't want to do, which is going over the fence, so we'll try and avoid doing that anymore. This is expensive as hell as well. We've spent so much money just painting concrete. If you use free mode, it helps. What do you mean by free mode? Thanks for following, Mark Aston. Thanks for following DJ Camo. Unfollowed? Okay. Why follow in the first place then? Free mode so that you don't pay for the paint. I mean, oh shit, I've gone way over there. I would rather pay for it, honestly. I know it's expensive, but it's kind of like, what's the point if you're just gonna get everything for free? Okay, that's the. I think that's the right color. No. That looks like the same color that it was before. I mean, I can clean it up off camera. Look, I'm not going to sit here and just spend hours and hours doing this. I'll just do it rough, and I can clean it up in my free time. You know. Otherwise, we'll be here all day just messing around with terraforming and paintbrushes. There we go. Okay, so we've turned the field into a concrete pad, which we're now going to use as a yard. So let's bring the tractor in for a start with the bales on it. It's a shame that the gate is right down the bottom end, though. Been a bit better off in the corner. Oh, and also the gate's going to be really tight to get through, isn't it, with long trailers. So that's going to be fun, because as far as I'm aware, there's no way to actually remove the gate. So, got to kind of just live with that. This might actually be a bit bigger than we need, to be honest. We might have given ourselves a bit too much space, but I'd rather have too much space than not enough, right? So there's our bale trailer. What else would we need to bring down here, equipment-wise? Let's, actually, if we look in our vehicles tab, there we go. Okay, the animal trailer, the Mitre or Maitre Phoenix, that can come down here. The roll belt, maybe, no, the pro belt can stay up at the farm because it's only going to be used for baling that same field that we've already been baling. So I will bring down the... I might leave this tractor here, actually, so we've got a permanent tractor down here for handling bales and stuff like that. And then we'll get the New Holland down here with the animal trailer. And off camera, I'll probably put some sheds here or something, so that we're not just leaving these tractors out in the open, in the middle of nowhere. But for now, we'll not bother with anything like that, because I don't want to be wasting too much time, you know, placing buildings and shit like that. It's not particularly exciting. Okay, let's go. Then I think we'll probably sleep, because it's starting to get dark. I wonder if any of our other animals have disappeared. I can't check while we're on the way. But we'll have a look when we get down there. We're a bit zoomed in there. Hi Saul, how are you? I'm good, Arch. How are you doing? I've had a good week. Busy, but a good week. Spent the first half of the week really putting as much time and effort as I could into getting that video out on time that I posted earlier. Please do check it out, by the way, my latest video. It's the very first one on my profile. It's about 20 minutes long, but please do consider checking it out. I put a lot of time and effort into that one. Afternoon, Charlie, how are you doing? And unfortunately, it hasn't gotten too much traction yet. What happened is, because the video is 20 minutes long, you know, videos that long don't tend to get pushed to the For You page. So what I thought I'd do was create a 60-second preview video, and then if people saw that and they were interested, they could click through and watch the full thing, right? Unfortunately, what happened is a lot of people have seen the preview video, but not many have clicked through to see the full video. So if you have seen that preview, please do check out the full video as well. Like I say, it's the pinned video. It's the very first one when you click on my profile. It's 20 minutes long, but it's one that I've put a lot of time and effort into. It's all about my coming out story, which I released on Wednesday because it's been 4 years since I came out. So yeah, please do go and give that some love if you can. Would you recommend Saxlingham? I would, Joe. Yes, great map. Loving it so far. We're only on episode 3, and I really am enjoying it so far. If you had hashtags in the description, that might work, like For You page or something. I do, Draydog. I do. Like say, the algorithm doesn't tend to promote videos that are longer than a certain length. I think it's about like 5 minutes or so. If your video is longer than 5 minutes, the chances of it actually showing up on people's For You pages is a lot lower. And when you're someone like me who quite often posts videos that are 20-25 minutes long, my longest video is 27 minutes, they just don't really show up in the For You page as much. So like I say, that's why I did a preview video, which has shown up on people's For You pages, and it has got a lot of attention. But yeah, just not as many people have actually clicked through to the full thing as I was expecting. So please do that if you haven't already. If you've checked out the preview but not the full video, please do check out the full video. Because the preview is only a very small part of it. Just wondering, why did you change gender? Good question. I do have a video about it. As Marika says, if you check out my second pinned video, that's all about how I realised that I was transgender. My top 2 pinned videos, the first one is about how I came out, and then the second one, the older one, is about how I realised that I was trans in the first place. So if you've got 40 minutes to spare and you want to hear the full story, then you could watch them both back to back. Just a suggestion. You don't have to. Have you thought about doing hour-long videos for mainly YouTube, says Draydog? The thing is, most of my audience are on TikTok, is the thing. And I know that longer videos don't do as well on TikTok. I know that TikTok is designed for shorter videos. But again, most of my audience is already here on TikTok, and despite that fact, some of my longer videos have done really well. I mean, my first Peak District video, 17 minutes long, that's got over 300,000 views. That's my most viewed video by a long way. So yeah, I feel like longer videos, they do work, but it's a bit more hit and miss. You know, obviously the shorter stuff tends to perform better. Sorry about user 615 whatever. I've blocked him. I mean, look, if you're gonna come onto my live streams, you can insult me all you like. I'm fair game, but don't join my live stream and insult my other viewers. That's just uncalled for. Like, direct your anger at me if you must. Anyway, I'm going to head back to the farm now. I'm going to go and sleep because it's starting to get a little bit dark. Then the morning it's going to be October, so we'll see what we can get done tomorrow. I was just going to say I do get help. Went to therapy last night. It was a lovely session. Nice one, Marika. Nice one. Oh, the camera doesn't reset like it does on Euro Truck. Yeah, it does always get me when people see a trans person and then they're like, get help, and I'm always just like, what do you think the help is for trans people? like people lose their minds when you point out that the recommended treatment for gender dysphoria is for someone to medically and socially transition. Can you please tell people on here stop bullying me about my username? Yeah, stop bullying Sheriff about his username. There's no need for it, really. Like I say, I mean, you can take the piss out of me as much as you like. It's my TikTok, you know. It's my stream, it's my channel. You can say what you like about me, but let's keep it civil and let's not be having a go at each other, right? Sup, dude? How you doing, Dan? Welcome to the stream. You shouldn't be doing that speed on a tractor on a public road, says Steve the Geese. I mean, you should be driving as fast as the speed limit, right? If the tractor can do 30 miles an hour and the speed limit is 30 miles an hour, then I'm going to drive at 30 miles an hour. Okay, let's head round the back, because for some reason the sleep point is at the back. What's favourite tractor? I love Challengers. My favourite tractor is probably the Cat 65C, which is the very first version of the Challenger. Unfortunately, you can't get that in FS25 at the moment. But there are a few Challengers here. There's this is quite an old one. This is quite a this one's from 1995. So and it's good. We had this on Moss Valley, and it was a really great tractor. But yeah, I think my favourite ever tractor is probably the original Cat 65C, which was the very first version of the Challenger tractor with this tracked design. Really, really great tractor, and it was available as a mod for FS22, but not currently in FS25. But I'm keeping my eye out. As soon as it's available, I'll definitely be adding it to the mod list. Those ones are awesome. A farmer next to my village has one. They're so cool. I just love a tractor that has tracks, you know. Is the wheel only for PC? As far as I'm aware, the wheel does work with consoles. I've had a few people mention before that they've tried this wheel on PlayStation and Xbox, and it does work. So I won't say for definite that it does. I'm not really the person to ask because I've never tried it, but I've heard anecdotally that it works. And the wheel, by the way, is the Logitech G heavy equipment wheel, which is specifically designed for Farming Simulator. Okay, it's 6 in the morning, and it is October. So, first things first, we need to head to the sheep pasture and see if any more of our sheep have mysteriously vanished into thin air. I see a sheep over there. Oh, there's another sheep over there. Okay. We have at least 2 sheep. 3, 4. 5. We have 5 sheep. I paid for 48 of these sheep. We have 5 left. 43 sheep have just disappeared. I mean, it's got to be a bug. They can't. I can't have lost that many in a day. Something's got to have gone wrong there. But that's really annoying. Okay, I think we'll have to write the sheep off as a bad do for now, and I'll try and figure out what's going on off camera, but something clearly has gone wrong there. There's no way. I mean, I would expect a couple of them. If they've not got food, I'd expect to lose a couple overnight. But there's no way that we've gone from 48 to 5. So that's got to be a bug. They can't be dying that quickly. Is animal thievery a thing? Says Marika. As far as I'm aware, no. Thanks for following, Sheriff the Big Leagues. While we're here, though, I'm going to check the grain mill and bakery and see how we're doing for bread production. Okay, we're doing good. We got a lot of bread here. Now, we can't sell the bread yet, because it's still not the best time of year to sell it. I want to try and get as much money as we can, which means selling it in January, I believe. Let's double check. Yeah, best time for bread is January. That is when we will sell it. It's the warehouse. The warehouse is for buying. Oh, is there... Oh, okay, there's a warehouse where we can buy anything. That's kind of handy for future reference, just in case. But pretty much all the products that we have right now, the barley, the wheat, the bread, it's all, you know, ready to sell around January, so we can't actually sell any of that right now. I guess the best thing we can do for now, then, is some field preparation. We've got 7, 19... I think all of our fields are currently harvested. Yeah. So I guess we can start doing some field preparation for next year. What do we actually want to plant next year? I would quite like to do breakfast cereal, which means corn, oats, and raisins. Now, we did talk about raisins before and about setting up a vineyard somewhere. I think we'll leave that for now, but the corn and the oats, we can definitely get started. So I say we start preparing fields 7 and 19, and then maybe if there's time, we'll do 2 and 3 later in the stream as well. But they are huge fields. In terms of equipment, we currently have... Kuhn Prolander 7500, which is 7.5 meters. That's a decent size. So I think we'll use the one that we've already got, and we'll start cultivating. Did it hurt when it got chopped off? Says Ewan. Hasn't been, won't be. Haven't had bottom surgery. Don't plan to. Thank you for your concern. Yo, Truck Spotter, how you doing? There's a season for bread. I like bread year-round. Yeah, there is, Marika. The thing is, obviously, because the wheat is ready in August, it means that you get less money if you sell it there and then. When it gets to sort of January, February time, that's when there's no wheat around, because it's all, you know, it's the wrong weather for it. So that's the best time to sell the wheat and bread that you've had stored, like previously. So that's why the bread sells better at a certain time of year. It's more. It's not that people are eating more bread in January. It's just that there's less bread for them to eat in January, so it's in higher demand. Good, you. I'm good, Truck Spotter. I'm good. Farm capitalism stuff. Exactly. We're all slaves to the capitalist system. So might as well use it to your advantage. Can I join you? Sorry, Bill, it's single player only, this one. Okay, let's get started. Do you ever do multiplayer, says Truck Spotter? Not for Farming Sim, no. We tried it briefly a while back, but it didn't really work out. I just enjoy doing single player, to be honest. With Euro Truck, I don't mind doing Truckers MP or Convoys every now and then, but for Farming Sim, I like doing single player. Thanks for following, Farmerly. Okay, steering assist, 2 headlands. Straight in. Let's go. Oh. And we're off. Do you have an IRL farm? I don't, TDM Starman. I'm not a farmer in real life. I've spent a lot of time on farms. I grew up. My granddad used to work on a farm. He used to take me to work with him on the weekends. So I spent a lot of time on farms as a kid, and that's what really got me interested in farming. But I didn't end up pursuing it as a career. Like, I didn't end up becoming a farmer or anything like that. But yeah, like I said, I spent a lot of time on farms as a kid, and that's really why I've always had an interest in farming, even though I've never actually done it. Might help to lower the thing. Yeah, thanks, Sheriff. Yo, CJ Agrimedia, how are you doing? I'm not sure if that's snow in the air or if it's supposed to just be dust. It seems like it could be the tiniest little bits of snow. There's no snow on the forecast, though, so we'll see. What are you going to plant in that field? Well, we definitely need to do one field of oats and one field of corn if we want to do breakfast cereal. We do have 4 fields, though, so what we're going to put in the other 2, I'm really not sure yet. If we're going to get animals, if we're going to get cows, pigs, everything like that, we really want to try and be making sure that we're growing our own food for them. So ideally some wheat or barley as feed for cows, chickens, whatever else. Some grass. We've already got grass fields, so we don't really need to worry too much about grass. For pigs, ideally some kind of root veg, like beets or beetroot or potatoes maybe. But we want a really small field for that because they're so time consuming. I really don't want to be doing a massive field of potatoes because it'll just take hours and hours and hours to get it harvested. So really I want to be looking out for a nice small plot of land that we can buy to if we want to do vegetables. But this one here, it'll probably be either wheat or oats. Corn or oats, sorry. Hi Reese, how you doing? Now we are cutting straight across the field here, because it's just easier to do this, and then we'll do that bit separately. I'm good, what about you? I'm good, yeah. Always glad to be playing Farming Sim, as you know. Love a good Farm Sim Friday stream. There we go. Okay. I will just finish off this little bit down here. We might be best just doing the one headland on this one. Looking at the field now, it seems like the field's a bit too small to do 2. As long as we got enough space to turn around. Oh shit, we've missed a bit. Back it up. There we go. All good. What time are we on? 5 o'clock. We've been live for 2 hours? No way. I thought we'd only been live for 1 hour. I guess we did waste a lot of time at the start of the stream trying to sort out the sheep feeding problem. And then, obviously, I got my record. But still, I did not realise we'd already been live for 2 hours. God damn. Good afternoon, how are you doing? I'm doing good, Callum. How are you doing? Time flies when you farm in sim. Exactly, Marika. Do you think trans women should be able to participate in women's sports? What's your opinion? I think it should be judged on a case-by-case basis. I think this is such a complicated question that I don't think the answer is as simple as yes or no either way. Obviously, there are going to be some trans people, there are going to be some trans women who have a very, very significant biological advantage in certain sports because of male puberty and because of their levels of testosterone and stuff like that. Which is why there should be a system of like hormone level testing, which is what we already have. We test, you know, when trans women want to participate in certain sports, we have hormone testing, and they have to prove that their testosterone is below a certain level to be allowed to compete, which I think helps to level the playing field. I don't think it's as simple as saying no trans women should ever be allowed to compete, but it's also not as simple as just saying, yeah, let all the trans women in, you know, indiscriminately. That it has to be done on a case-by-case basis to keep it as fair as possible. But the thing is that at the end of the day, people always go on about how trans women have a biological advantage, but that, like, sport is all about biological advantage. You know, the whole point of sport is that some people are going to have a natural advantage that other people, you know, that makes them better than other people. That's why, like, take basketball, for example. You know, someone my height, someone who's 5'6", is not going to make it onto a big league basketball team because I don't have the advantage of someone who's like 6'6", right? So really abnormally tall people have a huge advantage in basketball. And nobody's saying like, well, we should put a height limit on basketball to make it more fair, right? We just kind of accept that tall people are going to have an advantage in that particular sport. And I think for me that really gets to the crux of the issue, is that you can't eliminate all advantages from sport because then there'd be no sport, right? You can level the playing field, you can minimize the advantage to some extent and make it as fair as possible, but you can never have a sport that's going to be 100% fair, that every single player is the exact same level of ability and has the exact same level of advantage. That's just impossible. So yeah, like I say, basically I think the system that we have now is fine. I don't see the problem with the system that we have now, where trans women have to submit to hormone tests and they have to have a certain level of estrogen and they have to have a certain level of testosterone before they're allowed to compete. I think that system is perfectly fine. I honestly don't see what's wrong with the current system that we have. And the only reason that people are trying to change the system that we currently have is because of a couple of specific scenarios where trans women have outcompeted cis women. Like, just as an example, Leah Thomas. I think Leah Thomas is probably one of the most famous examples in the last couple of years. Everyone's always harping on about how, oh, Leah Thomas, you know, has got such a huge biological advantage, you know. Well, I say she because she's a trans woman, but almost everyone who argues about it is obviously misgendering her. But people are always on about, oh, she's got this huge biological advantage, she's displacing cis women on the top spots. You know how high she actually placed in that competition? She placed 6th. She placed 6th place. So this idea that a man can just one day say, I'm a woman now, I'm going to participate in this competition and get 1st place, it just doesn't happen like that. Like, if anything, she stole 6th place from someone. That's it. And even if she did come 1st, even if she won, okay, like, what's the problem? Eventually it's going to happen. Again, people have advantages in so many areas. Sometimes you have an advantage because of your height. Sometimes you have an advantage because of your weight. Sometimes you have an advantage because of the distribution of your hormones, you know. And it just comes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, you gotta level the playing field to some extent. You gotta try and make it as fair as possible, but you can never completely eliminate any and all advantage, right? Or the Algerian boxer says, "Oh, hey, that's a really good example as well." The whole Imane Khalif thing is a really good example because Imane Khalif is not transgender. There was such a media frenzy around this obviously male player who was pretending to be a woman so that he could compete in the women's section. She's not even transgender. Like this whole thing was basically started from a lie. The whole thing was based on a lie, which is absolutely insane to think. But not surprising, honestly. Not surprising that trans people are being blamed for something that didn't even involve them at all in this particular case. But that's my point. Like, what happened in that case is Imane Khalif, she is not transgender, but she does have an unusually high level of testosterone for a cis woman. So again, what's the difference there? What's the difference between her having more testosterone than the average woman and a trans woman having more testosterone than the average woman? It's like the same level of advantage, but when it's a cis woman, it's acceptable. When it's a trans woman, it's just a man pretending to be a woman so he can be in women's sports. You know what I mean? It feels very one rule for some and one rule for others, you know. No difference. Exactly, thank you. Transphobia and misogyny go hand in hand. Indeed they do, Pete. Indeed they do. And again, you know, because I know people are going to try and spin my words out of context and twist what I'm saying, I don't think that we should just say everyone who identifies as a trans woman can participate in women's sports, no questions asked. Because that does open the door for potential abuse. I do think there needs to be some level of control in place for it, but at the same time, the solution isn't just to say no trans people ever. You know what I mean? Like, both extremes are equally bad. It's a complex issue which has to have a complex solution. You know, this is the problem. People want simple answers to complex issues, and it just can't be done. You can't answer a complex issue with a simple solution. There's never going to be a simple solution that works. It has to be more nuanced than that, right? But yeah, that's my thoughts on that whole situation. You know, it's just the situation requires more nuance than people are willing to give it. Which is true of so many things in this day and age. You know, it's like people are allergic to nuance. Everything has to be black or white. I agree, you're right. Thank you, Ob. Anyway, that's that field done. We'll move straight on to the field next door, which is number 19. There's no stones, I'm noticing. Have I haven't turned stones off, have I? Let me just check. No, we got stones on. It might be that this is a shallow cultivator. I think if you use shallow cultivators, it doesn't actually bring up any stones. Let me just... disc harrow. Is it a disc harrow? No, it's got to be... It's cultivator. Yeah, it's a shallow cultivator. So because it's a shallow cultivator, it's not actually going to bring any stones up, which is good. Critical thinking in the year of our Lord 2025. Preposterous, says P. You're not wrong. You watching anything spooky this spooky season, says Draydog? Probably. I don't really have any hard plans, but, you know, I do like a good horror film. And if you're a regular viewer, you'll know that what I'm really into is sci-fi horror, specifically. I mean, I like horror more broadly, but I'm more into, like, aliens than ghosts, for example. So I like stuff like Alien, Predator, The Thing, what a classic. Like I say, I like sci-fi horror specifically. Did you watch the new Ed Gein documentary on Netflix? I didn't, Ob, no. I don't watch Netflix very often, to be honest. Honestly, I should probably cancel my subscription. I don't remember the last time I actually ever watched anything on Netflix. In fairness, though, I don't really watch too much on any streaming platform at the minute, to be honest. I don't watch much TV, generally speaking, you know. I'm going to go work out. Thanks for the stream. Have a good evening. Thank you, Marika. Thanks for joining. It's been wonderful. I was going to ask if you're an Alien fan. Oh, I am, Draydog. I am. Alien, the original Alien, is my favourite film. My all-time favourite film. I love the whole franchise. Apart from Resurrection, I think that's a bit crap. But the first three, I absolutely love. Especially Alien 3. Such an overhated film. It really, really is so vilified. And I like it. I think it's a good film. I don't think it's exceptional. I don't think it's on the level of Alien and Aliens. But the way some Alien fans talk about the third film as if it's the biggest pile of dog shit that ever graced the screen, I just think it's unfair. It's not a bad film. It gets too much hate. And I kind of feel the same way about Prometheus and Covenant as well. They're not incredible pieces of cinema or anything, but they're not as bad as people make them out to be, you know. And I loved Romulus. I went to see Romulus in the cinema with my sister last year. It's the very first time I've ever actually seen an Alien film on the big screen. Because obviously, by the time I was born in 1999, all four of the original films had already been long released. But yeah, I went with my sister last year to see Romulus. Loved it. Loved it. Great film. Big Alien fan. Like I say, the first film is my favourite film of all time. I've always been a lifelong Alien enjoyer. We even played Alien Isolation on stream last year, which was incredible. Have you seen the series? I haven't, Hayden. Please do not spoil the series, because I have not yet watched Alien Earth. I've been meaning to get round to it, and I've heard very good things about it, but I haven't watched it yet, so please no spoilers. But I've seen pretty much every other bit of Alien content that's ever been released, even when they did the 40th anniversary short films a couple of years back. I watched all of those, and I really loved those. Check those out if you haven't seen them, by the way. I think it was 2019, to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Alien franchise, they did like 6 short films that were like 10-15 minutes long. But they were produced like to the quality of official Alien projects, and they were so good. I think they were the result of a writing competition as well. So they're like all fan-written pieces, but again, they were filmed by Fox, and they're like technically canon entries in the franchise. If you haven't seen those shorts, definitely check them out. Just like Google Alien 40th anniversary shorts. They're really, really good. The only spoiler you'll get is that there are aliens. Oh, Hayden, how could you? Now I'm going to go into it knowing that the alien's going to be there at some point. I just know the series is set on Earth, says Draydog. Oh, I mean, they kind of spoiled that one themselves by calling it Alien Earth. But yeah, from what I gather... Please don't correct me if I'm wrong, because I actually don't want to know. But from what I've heard, I think it takes place between Covenant and Alien. So basically between the prequels and the original film. Again, if I'm wrong about that, don't correct me, because I want to find out for myself. But that's what I've heard. That's what I've gathered. Didn't the whole alien shit start on some space station? No, Draydog. Spoilers for the original film. If you've never seen the original Alien, spoilers. But if you haven't seen it by now, what are you doing with your life? Go and watch it. But the original film is that they get a distress call from a crashed ship, and then they go to investigate it, and they find out that the crashed ship is actually an alien ship. And then they discover that the pilot of the ship has been killed. Then they find some eggs, and then the whole story kind of unfolds from there. But yeah, it's not a space station. It starts with them like going to a planet to investigate a crashed ship. So far, the only installment in the franchise that's actually been set on a space station is Alien Isolation. Although, actually, no, Resurrection is set on a space station, but it's also a pilot ship, so I don't care. But Alien Isolation is set on entirely on Sevastopol space station, and is also the best game ever made in the Alien franchise as well. Seriously, what an incredible game! Can't wait for the sequel to that, which we 100% will be playing on stream when it eventually comes out. The question is, have you seen Alien vs. Predator? I have seen Alien vs. Predator, yes. Not the biggest fan. Didn't really do it for me, to be honest. As a big fan of both Alien and Predator, I just don't think they gelled that well, to be honest. It's not a crossover that I particularly enjoy, to be honest. No disrespect to any AVP fans out there. But I think they were just better off as separate franchises. I think I can turn my lights off now. There we go. What crossover do you think would work with Alien? I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I think crossovers, you know, call me crazy, but I think crossovers should be reserved for, like, I don't want to say parody, but they should be, like, non-canon things. They should be a bit of fun, you know? They should be something that's, like, a one-off thing that's just a bit of a laugh, you know? I don't think there should be, like, serious crossovers, like these two franchises are going to be combined into one super franchise. I don't like that. I think if you're going to do a crossover, do it as a one-off, as a bit of fun. Like, have a Children in Need sketch where the Doctor finds an alien from Alien. Maybe that would be inappropriate for Children in Need, but you know what I mean. Like, do it as like a one-off thing that's just a bit of fun, rather than make it a serious franchise. It's like a good example is like Doctor Who and Red Dwarf. Like, Doctor Who and Red Dwarf do not take place in the same universe. Like, canonically, they're two separate franchises. But there's a couple of little nods, you know, there's a couple of little jokes in Red Dwarf that hint at it. Like, in the background of some of the model shots, there's a tiny little TARDIS in there, you know, it's stuff like that. That is, I'd rather that, like this kind of joking, like, oh, what if these are the same universe? I'd rather stuff like that than, like, serious attempts at crossovers, because I just don't think serious crossovers really work in that way. Like I say, and like, a little reference, like, a little Doctor Who reference in Star Wars or something like that it's a bit of fun, you know. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Or like when the aliens from E.T. appear in the background of some shots in Attack of the Clones, you know, it's not meant to be taken seriously that E.T. and Star Wars are the same universe. It's just a bit of fun, right? It's just a fun reference. Like, what if these were the same universe? I like that kind of stuff. I like a nice reference. I like a nice reference to another franchise, but not really a big fan of serious crossovers. I think crossovers is also a view and ratings thing. See if it'll work. That's very true as well, Draydog. It does feel a bit cash grabby, you know. How long do the fields take you? This one, I'd say maybe another 10 minutes. Or maybe 15, actually. It's a bit bigger. The map's called Saxlingham, Ted. Thanks for following Callum572. How are you doing? What's up? I'm good, Callum. I'm good. How are you doing? What's the map called? Saxlingham. How do you download the map? It's on the mod hub, so if you just head to the mod hub and search Saxlingham, you should be able to find it. And it is crossplay, so you can get it on console as of last week. I think it just released. This is not a bad-sized cultivator, honestly, for this field. Sometimes when you start a new game and the starting equipment they give you, sometimes it's just woefully inadequate. Sometimes they'll just give you really tiny equipment and massive fields. But this, the starting equipment on this map seems very sensible. There's a good selection. It doesn't give you too much, but it doesn't give you too little either. And I feel like not enough people appreciate how difficult it is to get the right balance of starting equipment. Because again, some maps, they just give you everything. Some maps, you start off and you've already got the biggest combine and the biggest baler, and you got all the mowers and grassland equipment as well. And it's just like, what is there to achieve when you've given me everything right at the beginning? But then vice versa, there are also maps that will give you a tiny little cultivator and a huge field, and they'll be like, right, there you go, good luck. It's going to take you 5 hours to do one field. So I think it's good to have a map like this. It's got a very good balance when it comes to the starting equipment. So once we've done this field, we're not going to have time to do field 2 and 3 because they're absolutely enormous. But I'm sure we can find another job to occupy the last half hour of the stream. There's bound to be something else that needs doing. Maybe we could scout out a very small field to possibly use as a vineyard. Because, like I say, I want to do grapes. If we want to make breakfast cereal, we need to make raisins, which means we need to grow grapes. But we don't need very much space for grapes. We need, like, a really tiny field. Ideally, maybe, like, a long, thin field so we can fit a few longer vines in. But yeah, that's what we might do after we finish this field, is we'll try and stake out a location for setting up a vineyard. Are you looking forward to the new Doctor Who spin-off, says Dreydog? I am, Dreydog. I am looking forward to the war between the land and the sea. But, at the same time, I feel like maybe it wasn't the best idea to make this spin-off in the first place. What I mean by that is, obviously, when Russell T Davies and Bad Wolf Studios struck a deal with Disney, the deal was to make 26 episodes, right? Now, 10 years ago, if you were given 26 episodes, they would just make two series of 13 episodes each. Like a 12-episode series and a Christmas special, a 12-episode series and a Christmas special. But what they decided to do instead was dedicate 3 episodes to feature-length specials, 5 episodes to a spin-off series, so that the series themselves, the main series, only end up being 8 episodes long each. And I just feel like that was misjudged. And I think one of the biggest complaints I've heard about Series 1 and 2 of the New Who, one of the biggest complaints I've heard is that the series weren't long enough to get proper character development for the Doctor and the Companion. Again, back in the early 2000s, we were getting series that were 13 episodes long. And when Disney struck a deal with Bad Wolf Studios to do 26 episodes, they could have done 2 13-episode series. That would have made perfect sense. I just don't understand why, instead of that, they decided to do 2 really short series and then another spin-off. And I'm not opposed to spin-offs. I love the Sarah Jane Adventures, love Torchwood. Class was class. But I love the spin-offs of the RTD1 era, and I appreciate him trying to bring back that connected Doctor Who universe. But I just feel like he should have waited. I feel like he should have just done 2 13-episode series first, and then focused on expanding with spin-offs and you know, expanding the franchise in other directions. That's my thoughts on it. So while I am looking forward to it, I think it would have been better to wait a couple of years and do 2 full-length series instead, and then do a spin-off further down the line. That's my thoughts on it. But it does look good. It does look good. What GPU do you have? Thank you for following, by the way, Pi. That is Pi, isn't it? I think that's a capital Pi. The GPU is a RTX 2070, so it's 8 gigabytes, NVIDIA RTX 2070. My voice is starting to go again. Been talking for too long. Some Monster will help. Thanks for following Robo37. How are you doing? Is it good, I think, to buy 2070 Super or 2080 Super for FS? I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on graphics cards. The one that I've got, the 2070, is good, but I'm really not the person to speak to about it. I can't like make any recommendations or anything like that, because it's really not my area. But, you know, look around. There's plenty of websites where you can, like, compare GPUs, and it'll tell you which one's got the better stats, and they'll do, like, benchmark tests for certain games and show which card works better for specific games. So definitely do a bit of looking around online if you're unsure about which to go for. Do you play on very high? We're on high at the minute. I don't have it on very high because when I've got my streaming software and everything else running, it does struggle a bit. Same with Euro Truck Simulator, it struggles a bit when I play on ultra graphics, so I just play on high. So if you are planning on using it for like streaming and stuff like that, I do think the 2070 is a little bit underpowered for that kind of stuff. I think just an 8GB card in general is a bit underpowered these days for a streaming setup with high-end games like this. I'd go for something like 10 or 12 gigabytes if you got the budget for it, and I would like to look at upgrading my own setup to be 12 gigabytes at some point, maybe next year. But yeah, it's a good card, and I can play Farming Sim on ultra-high graphics with this graphics card, but if you want to stream as well, it's not quite going to be enough to be playing on ultra-high graphics. Before or during COVID, they did an audio about Sarah Jane's death. They did, Draydog. They did, yes. I watched that. That was really good. I I think I watched all of the stuff that they put out during COVID, because they did a few little sketches and stuff like that, which were really great. But the Sarah Jane funeral one, that was a really nice, touching, send off for Elizabeth Sladen. It was really, it was nice. It was very nice. And I love, just to carry on the Doctor Who train for a minute, I love that for Tales of the TARDIS they paired up Clyde and Joe Grant. That was such an amazing choice, because obviously if Elizabeth Sladen was still alive today, they would have 100% asked her to be in it. She is like the iconic companion. Like, in all of Doctor Who, I think Sarah Jane is probably the single most iconic companion. If she had still been alive when they were doing Tales of the TARDIS, they absolutely would have asked her to be in it. So I think it was a really nice choice for them to use Clyde and Joe instead, and have them talk about their personal relationships with Sarah Jane. It was really nice. Like, even though, obviously, Elizabeth Sladen wasn't in the story, you really felt her presence, and it felt like a really nice tribute to her, which I really enjoyed. I loved the Tales of the TARDIS stuff, by the way. I think it's a really cool idea to get people into Classic Who, by framing the stories with these little intro and outro segments. I do like that idea. I hope they do more of stuff like that. I hope they do more Tales of the TARDIS style stuff, where they take these classic stories and help modern audiences to reach them and to discover them. Thanks for following, Dennis. Sorry, I've got some serious dough in my bank. Nice one, Dennis. Well done. Good for you. Oh, also speaking of Doctor Who, there's been some rumblings recently, hasn't there? There's been some discussions about some potential lost episodes being found. I've heard quite a commotion is going on at the minute with I forget the name of the studio that's the organisation that's trying to organise it, but I've heard that they may have got their hands on some more lost episodes, which would be huge news if that's the case. And from what I've heard, it sounds like it's quite a few episodes as well. Like, not just one or two; it could be like 5 or 6 missing episodes being returned, which would be absolutely huge if it's the case. So yeah, it's quite an exciting time at the minute in terms of lost episodes. It does seem like there may be some movement in that area. And I think at this point, to be honest, we're getting to the point now where there really isn't much time left to find those lost episodes, because the tapes are getting to a very severe state of deterioration now. You know, in another 10 years or so, they'll essentially be lost forever, because the tape will have degraded so badly that you couldn't even get scans off it. So I feel like this is really the last chance to get our hands on missing episodes. And if there are some missing episodes about to be revealed, I think they might well be the last ones we'll ever get, which is kind of bittersweet. But back to the farming. We have now finished field 19. we'll take this back, and then we'll do a little bit of scouting out, and we'll see if we can find somewhere to do our vineyard. I was just looking on the map and thinking, actually, Field 4 looks like it could be quite a good option. It's just next to the shop. It's a bit of an odd shape, but it's a good size. So we'll head over there and we'll check it out. Ooh, bit bumpy. How do you feel? I got 50 from the lottery. I'm rich. Congratulations, Dennis. Congratulations. Okay, there we go. Right, so Field 4. Field 4 seems like the best option at the minute. We'll go and check it out. We'll go see how it looks, see if it's worth getting. If not, we can continue to shop around. We got 61k, so we can't afford anything too expensive. But hopefully there'll be something about. That field there is not a bad size, really. Although it does have a pond and a tree in the middle of it. That's field 6. Oh, can we get to field 4 through here? We might not be able to. It costs 92 grand. Okay, we can't actually afford field 4 at the minute. But we can check it out anyway. We can see if it's going to be suitable. This farmyard area, is that... That's 86, okay. So that won't be included. What's the best map, says Carp Fishing UK? It really depends entirely on what you want to do in the game. What kind of crops you want to grow, what kind of farming you want to do. You know, do you want the big open fields like you get in America, or do you want the more tight winding roads and stuff like that you get in the UK? It depends what kind of farming you want to do, to be honest. But I think at the minute the best UK map is this. I do think that Saxlingham is the best UK map at the minute. It's really, really good. We've played Moss Valley. We played that on stream, and I really enjoyed it. But this one, just the attention to detail on this map is absolutely incredible. I really do think this map is something special. So yeah, if you want to know my opinion, this is the best British map in the game at the minute. Camera's lagging, says Dennis. Yeah, it will do. It will do, Dennis. It does that a lot. Okay, so how do we get to field 4? The live's quiet today, says Dre Dog. Yeah, it's unusually quiet for a farming sim stream. But, you know, truth be told, I've had a busy week. I'm not in the mood for arguments today. I'm glad it's a bit quieter today. Because the way these farming sim streams usually go is that the chat just gets flooded with a load of troll comments and shit like that. I appreciate a quieter stream like this every now and then, you know. Wash your tractor, says it's farming sim. The tractor's like barely even dirty. This is like, it's honestly nothing. Okay, so how do we actually get into this field then? Like, where's the access point for vehicles? And also, now that I'm looking at it, this might be a bit too big for a vineyard. And it's a very weird shape. Like, the field ends where this line of trees is, which means this here is a separate field. But they're so clearly one field. Why are these being sold as separate fields? I don't understand. Odd. There's also a pond in here. But apparently no way in or out. There's no road, there's no gate. I see a house. Ah! Excuse me. Oh, so it is this way. We can get through from this side. That's a bit weird, though. I've gone off this field, actually. Let's not have this one. Keep searching. Hola, Relay. How are you doing? Welcome. So let's see if we can find another small field. What's 91? Is that just a building? Yep, which we are inside. Okay, we're imprisoned. What time are you ending today? 6 o'clock, Relay, about 20 minutes. 102. Wait a minute. 100. This lay-by. This lay-by is a piece of land. We can buy the lay-by. That's kind of cool, actually. We could buy the lay-by and put like a little market stall in it. You know, you occasionally see farmers selling their stuff at little stalls in lay-bys. It's not a bad idea, actually. How much does the lay-by cost? 8.5 grand. That's cheap. I'm just going to buy it. I'm going to go ahead and buy that right now. This is now our lay-by. Wonderful. But we can't put a vineyard on it. It's not the right shape or size or material for a vineyard, so we need to keep looking. 79. That looks promising. What's going on here? It's a barn. 64, that just looks like trees. 65, nope, that's huge. 84, nope. 92, what's 92? Oh, that's just the road network so that we can mow and stuff like that. 61, what's going on here? Not a bad little yard, but again, not suitable for a vineyard. All of these, I think, are just houses. Number 60 could be promising, though. Okay, so what's going on with number 60? Which bit of the field is actually being sold here? This bit. So it's woodland, then. Yeah, and then that's a separate field. Okay, this doesn't really seem suitable either. There's not really any good option. I think we did talk about 82 before, 28 before, right? We did talk about this field here because it's very long and thin. Again, it might just be a bit too big, though. I don't... Oh. Ooh, I kind of want that old fort shrit. That's a good-looking trailer as well. It's in terrible condition, but it's only it's only 5.5 grand. And it holds 14.5 tons. What does our current trailer hold? We might do a trailer swap. Hang on. Where is it? There we go. Vehicles. Trailer. Cramp and big body. 37.5. Okay, the current trailer that we have is much, much bigger. But it is only 5.5 grand. We could use it for some smaller carting jobs. And it's a nice looking trailer. I'm going to buy it. Let's get it anyway. Okay. Back to the shop to pick it up. And honestly, we might have to end it here because there's not really anything else I can do. We don't have time to take on any big jobs, so we might have to end the stream a bit early. Unless I can think of something else that needs to be done. Oh, this is a nice trailer. Look, this is a nice size. I like it. I like this. Corn Picante or Picarde. I'm not sure. La Picarde, sorry. I'm not sure what country this is from. Italy or some maybe. Although it kind of looks like it's designed for South America. Looks like it'd be quite at home in some of those maps. But it looks like a good trailer, so we'll take it. Is the next live tomorrow or Sunday? Next live is Sunday, Draydog. We are going to be playing Oddworld Soulstorm, which I'm very excited for. Sorry for yawning. Yeah, I'm very excited for Soulstorm. We've spent the whole year playing through the Oddworld series. We've played Muncher's Odyssey, Abe's Odyssey, New and Tasty. Obviously, we played Stranger's Wrath, Abe's Exodus. This is it. Oddworld Soulstorm is the last game in the Oddworld franchise as of 2025. This is the only game in the franchise we haven't played yet. So I'm very much looking forward to it. Love the game. It's going to be very fun to play it on stream and to show it to you guys for the first time if you haven't already seen the game. Yeah, it's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to getting my teeth into Soulstorm. Oh, I was just about to say, look at that perfect reversing, but I've just hit post. Still not bad. Still not bad. There we go. Right. I think that's going to be it. There's not really anything else that we can do. I'm happy with what we have done today. Although I would be even happier if we didn't lose all of our sheep, but that's, you know, that's another problem. It's another matter entirely. Let's just check the store one last time, see if there's anything else worth buying. The John Deere looks good, but I don't think we really need a third tractor right now, especially when it's going to take us down to just 17 grand. Oh, actually, no, that's awful. I hate the back of the cab on that. But yeah, I don't think it's worth the expense at the minute to get another tractor. I think we're fine with 2 for now. And none of this other stuff's any good to us. I mean, sorry. This giant slurry spreader, for example, we don't really have any use for it at the moment because we don't have any slurry. Same with the disc harrow. We've already got a shallow cultivator. There's nothing there that's really that useful. So we'll leave it there. That's going to be it for Farming Sim for today. Thank you very much for joining. Don't go away if you want to see the usual stream wrap-up. I'm going to do it now. But there's not really much else that we can do on the game today, so we're going to finish up just a little bit early. Thank you, says P. You're quite welcome, P. Thank you as well. Okay, let's just quit out of here. There we go. And let me just adjust my windows. There we go. We want this one here. And we want this one there. There we go. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining. Thank you very, very much. It's been a good stream. We didn't get as much done as I was hoping to today, but you know, it's been a good stream all the same. There's been some interesting conversation at the very least, which I always do appreciate. I like a stream where there's actually some discussion going on, and it's not just a sea of people trying to provoke a reaction out of me, you know. It's nice when people actually want to have a genuine conversation. So thank you everyone for the wonderful conversation that's been going on today about Doctor Who and Alien and trans women in sports, which was much less controversial than I was expecting that particular topic of discussion to be. It's been good all round. Good stream, good chat, good conversation. Thank you all. It's been wonderful. Now down to business. Next live stream is going to be on Sunday. We are going to be playing Oddworld Soulstorm. Sorry, let me say that again because my throat got clogged up. Oddworld Soulstorm is the game that we will be playing. So once again, if you're not familiar with the Oddworld franchise, Soulstorm is the latest game. They released it in 2022. It got a mixed reception for many reasons, which we will discover when we play it. But I think it's an incredible game that deserves a chance. I'm very much looking forward to playing it. And if you're unfamiliar with the game, hopefully I might even be able to convince you that it's a good enough game for you to spend your money on, because I really love Soulstorm. I think it gets way too much hate. I think it's a great, solid game and a very worthy installment in the Oddworld franchise, and I'm very much looking forward to starting that game on Sunday, so do join me. Sci-Fi Sunday, 3 PM BST. We are still on BST. 3 PM till 6 PM, you know the drill. That's going to be the next live stream. Next week, my voice is... I'm really losing it right now. Next week, we're going to be playing... I don't know. Right, look, on Tuesday I've got the carpet fitters coming. On Friday I've got my sister coming, and she's going to be stopping for the week. So I don't honestly know what live streams I'm going to be doing next week. At the very least, I would like to get Factorio out, because there's no reason not to do Factorio on the Thursday. Maybe... It's a very big maybe, but maybe we could do Minecraft on Monday. Just to make up for the fact that I won't really be doing any other streams that week apart from Factorio. I'm not making any promises. You're probably not going to get a full schedule of live streams next week, let's just put it that way. I'll do as many as I can, but it probably won't be many. Before we go, I do also just want to quickly mention again my latest video. Please, please, please do go and check that out and give it some love. If you have seen the preview video, the 60-second version, which is floating around on TikTok, please do go and watch the actual full video. It's 20 minutes long. It's pinned on my profile. When you click on my profile on TikTok, it's the very first video on the top left corner. Please do go give it some love, because again, a lot of people have watched the preview video, but not a lot of people have watched the full 20-minute the full 20-minute video. So please do go and give that some love. Please do make sure that you, if you have seen the preview but not the full video, please do go and check out the full video. That's it. So if you've enjoyed but you haven't already, please do follow, and please do feel free to follow and subscribe over on Twitch and YouTube as well. If you would like to participate in the conversation, if you want to talk to me outside of live streams and you want to get notified when I go live and stuff like that, please do consider joining our Discord server. We've now got over 50 members. It's a nice place, just to have a nice conversation. And again, you can get notified when I post videos and go live, so do consider checking that out. And last, but certainly not least, please do consider checking out the Patreon. Shout out to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika, my 9 incredible Patreon supporters. Thank you so very, very much for supporting me over there. If you want to get your name on this board, check out my Patreon. It costs £1 a month. You get your name on the board, you get access to behind-the-scenes content, you get a shout-out on stream, and you'll be supporting me in what I do here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. So thank you once again to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika. I can't thank you enough. I really, really do appreciate your support on Patreon. And again, if you want to support me on Patreon, it only costs £1 a month. Please do consider checking it out if you want to support me that way. Thank you again, everyone. Last question. Okay, Joe Ledger, one more question before we finish up. On map, how do you buy farmland? If you're using a keyboard and mouse, you go into your map and you press X, and that will open the buying menu to allow you to buy and sell land. With that question answered, that is all we got time for today, so thank you very, very much, everyone. It's been wonderful. I'll see you on Sunday for Sci-Fi Sunday. I'm going to go ahead and listen to my new record. I'm going to go listen to some Gustav Holst, performed by the London Symphony Orchestra. What a great record. This is the record that got delivered earlier in the stream, in case you missed it. I'm going to go and maybe pop that on for a little bit. And I'm also going to go and make myself a nice pasta bake for tea. So that's all from me. Enjoy your evening. I've gone blurry. Enjoy your evening. Enjoy your weekend. Have a lovely weekend, says P. Thank you very much, P. Everyone enjoy. I will see you on Sunday for Oddworld Soulstorm. That's it. Bye-bye. Oh, hold on. Okay. Bye-bye. For real this time. And bye-bye, everyone, as always, over on YouTube and TikTok and Twitch as well. It's been wonderful. I'll see you on Sunday for Oddworld Soulstorm. And then whatever streams I post next week. Excuse me, I'm going to finish now because I keep yawning, I keep burping, and I'm getting really tired. I need to have my dinner. I'm just going to go. Just leave it here. I'm just going to go. My voice is going.